Hello, my name is Deacon Dever, and today I'm going to be talking about how to get better at running. The purpose of my speech today is, as I just said, I'm going to teach you how to get better at running, or at least how I do it. Running is very difficult. In my opinion, it is probably the most mentally challenging sport and maybe one of the most physically challenging sports. But overall, running is a 95% mental sport. The first point I'll talk about is preparation for running. Running is something you have to do a lot of preparation for to be good at. One thing you really need to do and focus on is hydration and food. You need to drink lots of water. You cannot stress that enough, how much water you need. You also need to make sure you feed yourself with good food, not just any food. You need really good nutrients to help you run. Another thing that's very important for the preparation of running is to stretch and have a light warm-up every time before you run, because many injuries and bad things can happen if you don't stretch and warm up before you run. Another thing is a light jog. A light jog really helps open up your blood vessels, and that's something important that you do before you run. My next point is breathing. Make sure when you're running, breathe through your nose and out your mouth. Breathing is another one of the most important things about running. It can really mess you up if you mess up your breathing. When you're running down hills, you need to make sure you have long, deep breaths, especially, as that helps you stride out more, especially once you get to the bottom of the hill, you keep going. Always keep breathing. It seems very simple, but it actually is not as simple as it may seem. When you're running hard, sometimes you want to just stop breathing and just focus on the running, but it is very important to always keep taking long and deep breaths at all times, and if you take deep breaths, that helps with your side stitches. Next thing I'm going to talk about is routine and consistency. Running, you need a really good routine, and you really need to be consistent. That's a super important thing. It takes about 2 weeks to get adjusted to a new sport, and running is definitely a sport that it takes that time to get adjusted to. So you need to keep doing the same things over and over every day. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is keeping a schedule with that. So it is very important to try to run at the same time every day. So if you should run at 3 o'clock one day, try to run at 3 o'clock the next day. Just try to keep doing that day after day. But make sure you take recovery days. Run at a comfortable pace. Running at a comfortable pace is very important, because if you don't do that, you're going to get burnt out. You're not going to have as much fun running. So just make sure you're running at a speed that you're comfortable with. And like I said earlier, I'll talk about it again, eating and drinking healthy is very important. You need to make sure you're drinking plenty of water and eating plenty of nutrients, as I mentioned earlier. The next thing I want to talk about is after you get adjusted. So after you've been running for a little while, you're not just starting anymore. It is very important that you keep the schedule, like I said, but you're going to change up your schedule a little bit. You want to pick 1 or 2 days a week where you want to run hard, short distances. Those are your speed days, and those are really important for, like, when you're running cross country. At the end of the race, you got a sprint. Speed days help you build up that speed for the sprint. Pick another day or two for long distance slow. You're going to run very slow on these days, but very long distance. For me, those days are Monday and Tuesday. I run much longer distance, and I run at a much slower pace. And next is recovery and proper care. Recovery and proper care is super important. You always want to take rest days and make sure that your body is okay. If you're super sore, then you need to take a rest day. Also, that includes a lot of icing. There's a lot of icing that goes along with running and help your muscles recover. This is how to get better at running. Being good at running takes a lot of time and effort, and it especially takes a lot of discipline. Consistency is also really key in here, and it's just super important that you stay consistent. A healthy diet and drinking lots of water is also another very important thing. And do not overtrain and do not burn yourself out. That can absolutely ruin someone when they're running. But with these steps, anyone can be a great runner.